Welcome to the Road Detour. We're kind of doing something special today. I'm here with Briar Eaton.
Yes.
And Briar is about to transition to his first full-time youth ministry role. And we wanted to have a little conversation before we went. First of all, I want you to tell people what happens when you drink coffee and not water.
Well, if I drank just too much, like honestly, when I fill this up, I actually only filled it up to like halfway because if I drank too much coffee, I start getting real shaky or whatever. So I have to drink coffee and water. And he made fun of me whenever I pointed that out earlier. And he was like, man, I wish we were rolling. And now he brought it up. So.
Did you disclose this in your interview process?
I did not.
The shakes when
I did not. That might be a red flag to them. I don't know.
It could have been. It could have been.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know.
We'll find out when I get there. I don't know. But
So for those of you who do not know it, maybe you weren't at church last week, Briar announced, and we got to begin telling him goodbye, that he'll be the senior youth minister at Grace Place down the road a bit. And let's talk. Let's reflect back.
Yeah.
You told me you pulled a bulletin out from when you were voted into this position.
yes.
And it was in 2020.
Yes, it was started volunteering the spring of 2019. By that fall, I was an intern and then stayed an intern through COVID. And then September 2020 is where I found that announcement sheet. And it was basically voting Elijah to move from interim student pastor to full-time student pastor and then me to be part-time and everything. And so, but yeah, that was cool to just go. I have too much stuff that I save, but at the same time, it's kind of cool to go through and flip through all that stuff. But at the same time, I have a very full box back there.
So first of all, I want you to know from our perspective, we appreciate you. And we appreciate the time you put in here and the investment you made in students' lives. And you've been a fabulous worker. You know, I always think back to during COVID when we did the outdoor service or when we've done 4th of July. And it's just true of all of our staff. You guys down there at 6:15, 6:30 in the morning setting stuff up or I show up and we have a time that we're supposed to show up and start and I get there and things are finished and you've been a part of that. You've been a really good worker for us.
Thank you.
And appreciate that. But I want to ask you some questions just to kind of reflect back. And again, this is all... we don't rehearse this. We didn't talk about it. What would you say, Briar, the biggest thing you're taking away from your time at the Road would be?
I mean, obviously just church experience. I mean, this is the first, church I've been on staff of and everything. I mean, I say that obviously 2019, I was only 19 years old kind of thing. So first church experience was from here and everything. But I honestly feel like just the core value of relationships from our church. I feel like that in itself has already kind of taught me that, you need to be personable with people. It's not just like, hey, I'm getting my job done, calling it good. It's about the people first kind of thing. And even like how we sit here and sometimes, for example, we might get frustrated because the volleyball court gets trashed. Well, at the end of the day, it's like, well, we're serving people. Right. We're allowing them to use this. Not that we want them to trash it, but stuff like that, like, I would say especially that even has really just always opened my eyes of like, we get frustrated, but at the same time, it's like, well, we're serving people, So
people is why we're here.
Yeah.
And relationships are why we're here. And as a minister, if you can do relationships well, if you preach well and don't do relationships well, you'll fail. But you can do relationships well and your communication skills be less. And if you love your people and they love you, you're going to be okay. And so you'd walk out and go, man, the thing that I've seen, I've learned is the value of relationships.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's the main thing, but I will say not just relationships with the church people, but with the staff as well. I feel like if the whole church staff is everybody just hating each other, that's going to reflect on the rest of the church kind of thing. And so that's one thing that, especially made this decision hard for me and Bailey to move to Grace Place and everything is just the relationship we have with the staff. I mean, we joke around about having 4 youth people in our office at one point this summer. Actually 5 at one point this summer. But in all reality, my personality, I didn't hate it. I got stuff done when I needed to get stuff done. But at the same time, like I'm a personable person. I like fellowship and everything and engaging with other people. And so that's one thing that for sure I'm going to miss. But at the same time, that also reminds me like, if that's something that's neglected when I do go there, that's my fault because I need to be personal. I need to go. So
here's my challenge: take the thing that was biggest to you here and take it with you.
Yeah,
take it with you. Second question:
yes,
funniest thing you remember?
Funniest thing I remember.
We have a bunch.
There's a lot, man. Some things I feel like I shouldn't say, but
a lot of it was in here.
Yeah, there was a lot of bad things in here, disgusting things that happened in here. But one story that I feel like I just tell often is when Elijah hit himself with the T-post driver.
Oh, yeah.
And he passed out from seeing all the blood and everything.
We were talking about that yesterday morning in executive staff.
And it cracked me up because I just remember, I remember like him laying there and we're all walking up and Abe thought Elijah was joking.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, quit playing with us. And then I remember when Elijah finally passed out, you stepped on, like you're standing over Elijah and you had to look at Abe immediately and you go, he's not playing. You start slapping him in the face
Elijah, wake up.
Wake him up. And then after all that, Elijah walks up, goes and gets in his own truck by himself and drives himself to go get an x-ray done to find out he broke his shin. Like that was always hilarious. But at the same time, I mean, there's tons of other stories, like even just stuff we tried during COVID, like the Wings and Worship. That was phenomenal.
Oh my goodness.
I will say that's one thing I can say I took away from this church is I actually kind of eat spicy foods now. I hated spicy foods, but I think because you guys gave me atomic death, it allowed me to progress to where it's like, oh, I'll get some spicy wings when I go somewhere and not be that guy that's like, I want chicken tendies, plain and dry. Like I can actually be like, oh, give me some buffalo hot, or something.
One of our core values, it spells out the word air, health, excellence, innovation, and relationship. But in one of the subcategories of that is we want to laugh a lot. So we want to have some fun together, and I think we have, and I think you've been a big part of that.
I mean, even just stuff as simple as I've been tased. Yeah, that was what popped in my brain whenever I was saying I don't know if there's some things we should say. but yeah, I have that video on my phone actually of how you tried to, and I thought you got me, and it scared me, and I was like, oh, you didn't get me, and then when you got me, I was like, oh, you got me, like you really did get me. But even just funny stuff is like that. Hammer bench press at the gym of how we all like had a thing of like, oh, we're all gonna bench 4 plates on just little stuff like that, like
8 plates, 4 on each side.
4 on each. And definitely couldn't do that today, but just little stuff like that. Like I always loved how we always tried to not necessarily have a competition, but tried finding something we could always laugh at whenever we were wherever we were, because we all went to at one point I think I counted to where we got up to 7 people all showing up to the gym on like every morning before we'd come into work, and then that died quickly because that's a terrible time to work out and everything. And I wish I could still do it, but Banner doesn't allow. But yeah, I mean, just little stuff like that, like just the laughs we had around the office of hanging out like when Abe was here, I remember hanging up our bench maxes and everything. With Matthew, immediately after that, we all started putting pictures of like what celebrities we looked like whenever. So it's been, it's been cool just to see not only the different people that have came through ministry here, but the different relationships I've been able to build with everybody here, no matter who's in what position and stuff like that. It's been cool just to see, growing up, I always feel like for me, I heard of like great church experience and bad church experience and stuff like that. And yes, there are sadly some churches in our world that maybe that is a bad experience and everything. But I think just hearing about that, it always made me worried that if it was a different church than what I grew up with, it was going to be a bad one kind of thing. And so I will say that is one thing I am definitely taking away is that's not true. Like just because it's not where you grew up does not mean it is a bad church kind of thing. And like being here, honestly, like volunteering, I mean, the whole way I started volunteering was you were just at my parents' house. And finally, I remember just asking you, I was like, do y'all need help with youth? Because I'm saying I'm called to youth ministry, but I'm not even going to a church at all right now. And so it's been cool to see just my perspective change in that from going from just simply asking you at my parents' house, like, hey, do you need help in youth? To all of a sudden, like, I'm going to be a full-time youth pastor somewhere. You're the guy. So
you came here single.
Yes.
We got you married off.
Yeah, you got me married off. Yeah,
got you married off.
I've had a lot of different life experiences here, honestly.
You had your first
in a very
baby.
short 5 years.
You had your first baby.
Yes, had my first baby.
Now you got 1.75 or 1.5.
Almost there. Yeah, we're
like
halfway there. Yeah, due in December. So I think we got 19 more weeks.
You came single. You're leaving a family, man.
Yeah.
Lots of changes.
Yeah. No, I mean, literally, I was in college when I got here, got married when I got here.
Did not want to do college.
Did not want to do college, not one bit.
We kept
that was multiple conversations
kept
with you.
a foot on you to certain part of your anatomy to get the college done. Now you got a college degree, dude.
Yeah, I do, and it can't say it was fun, but
you got it.
But
done.
I got it.
You got it done,
I did
man.
It. Yeah,
you should be proud of that.
Yeah, I was actually, me and Bailey were talking about it the other day of how many different like life experiences I had here.
Wow, it is true.
I mean, literally, like, even though it's been 5.5 years since the day I volunteered to now kind of thing, like started college and I was here kind of thing. Obviously got engaged, got married, and I was here. Had a heart surgery while I was here.
Like a couple of serious health scares.
Like lots and lots of things. And it's just wild it's wild to say that many different things happened in 5 years, but it's just cool because it did all happen here with you guys and everything. And so you guys were a part of the like helping and ministering to us in that process and everything. And the go-to thing I have been saying a lot is I definitely think there are points in life where you need to be poured into and points where, well, you always need to be poured into in some capacity, but there's a point in life where it's just you're getting poured into, and there's a point in life where you need to pour out. And I can definitely say right now I do feel like my cup is overflowing because of you guys and everything. Wow. It has been super cool to just through this whole process, different like insights from different people and just advice that I'm getting and things like that. So,
well, you and I have had a bunch of conversations. Yeah. Not all of them have to do with church.
Probably more than what he wanted.
Some of them have to do with family and life, and I love you.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of you. I am proud of the step that you're taking. It used to just kill me for anybody to leave, and it took some convincing on God's side that the kingdom is not about my church, our church, that the kingdom is the kingdom, and that we're all working in the kingdom. And so I'm excited to see you take the opportunity to let God use you in the lives of kids, and I believe He's going to bless them. I believe He's going to bless the church. We love the people down at Grace Place. Robbie is a great guy, and I'm glad to see you get to be under the leadership of a great pastor.
Yeah, no, we're really excited. I mean, it's obviously like a bittersweet thing kind of thing. Like honestly, like I was always told the worst part was saying bye to the students. And I will say so far that still probably was the worst part, but no offense to you students, but I mean, students are everywhere. And if that's my passion, like I'm going to get to build that relationship. Not the same kind that I have with the students here and everything. Like, I'm probably not going to get a framed picture of Hattie and Keanu Reeves on my birthday every year, but stuff like that, like you build different relationships wherever you go, but at the end of the day, it all goes back to relationships, and so it's just doing ministry at that point. It's not, I'm here at this church or at that church or at this church. It's just I'm doing ministry in life and going wherever God wants me kind of thing. So bittersweet, but we're excited to see what God does.
What do you want from us?
What do I want from y'all?
As you make this transition, what do you want from your home church?
Man. I mean, obviously just prayers, like it's not that, it's a healthy church and everything, but obviously it's different. It's not operating the same way that every church operates differently. Right. That's basically what I'm trying to say is that. So probably just the transition of moving into a full-time role of just ministry in a different capacity. Like here, I will say like there's always a plus and a negative side to everything, and here it's a negative thing that I'm leaving. But one of the negatives is like we took 197 middle schoolers to camp. I love them. Don't know all of them. You know what I mean? At this church, like, smaller youth group, I'm going to know them. And so that's an excitement for me is like, I'll get to know everybody in my youth group and everything. And so, but at the same time, smaller youth group is going to operate a little bit different than a big youth group. And so probably just the whole transition for me and Bailey and everything, and Banner, and then eventually having a baby and everything going through, to possibly Barry. Yeah.
When's your due date for Barry?
December 23rd. It's not going to be Barry. It's not going to be Barry.
It's not Barry.
I can't name him after the Flash. I was going to, but I guess we got to stick with Marvel names. I don't know. Might do Bruce Banner. It depends. Like we already have a Banner. Name this one Bruce, and then it's Bruce Banner. But yeah, I don't know. We've been trying to actually talk through different names, but we feel like it has to be a B name because otherwise it's just like neglecting,
Once you get started down that hill, you can't stop.
Well, even if you look at Bailey's whole family, it's all B's and then her brother Alex. Like out of 5 siblings, one that isn't named with a B. And so she was like, we have made fun of him his whole life. And I was like, well, we don't need to do that.
We talked about that on this, yes.
But yeah.
Man, go love the kids well. Go love your pastor well. He's a good man. And I'm excited to watch what God does. And this Sunday, Briar's still going to be here. This will be his last day with us. So if you haven't got the chance to grab him, hug his neck, tell him you're praying for him, tell him you appreciate the time and the energy that he's put into our ministry here, you need to grab him and do that.
Yeah. I mean, Sunday was already more people and this is going to sound terrible to say, but there were more people that I genuinely was like, I had zero impact in your life. Like, I was not around you, that actually came up to me and they were like, thank you for everything you've done for my family. And that was just cool to even get to see, because I was like, people that I didn't think I impacted at all. It's cool to see who you impact whenever
Ripple
you're not even
effect.
trying to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
Well, we love you. We will miss you.
Love y'all.
But at the same time, we are excited for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the Road Detour.
Hey, one last question. Mm-hmm. How many Walmart sacks does it take?
How many? You know what? I think Rick should answer this question, because he probably has zero clue what we might be
No, we're
talking
going to jump
about.
off the water tower.
Yeah, there. Okay, so he knows. He watches the youth content. So Rick, how many Walmart plastic sacks do you think it would take to jump off the Choctaw Water Tower and land safely?
So you're going to use them as a parachute, or you're
Yes.
going to use them as a landing pad?
And the main thought is a parachute,
Okay.
right? And a word
So are we
Elijah
getting
didn't
the
think I
cheap
knew was an
Walmart ones that tear
apparatus.
open super easily, or are we getting the good Walmart
So
ones?
it depends which Walmart you go to. There's some that are brand new.
So we talking Del City Walmart, we talking Choctaw
Yeah,
Walmart,
Choctaw's
we
newer.
talking Midwest City Walmart.
Choctaw's newer. They got better sacks. I think it really just depends on, I don't know. Sometimes you go to like Costco, they get those really good plastic sacks. Like, it depends, but so we're going to go strictly off Walmart.
Okay.
We're going to say, let's do average. They might have a hole
Maybe
or two.
So we're going to double bag then.
You might.
Yeah, we're going to have to. If you think they might have a hole and you're jumping
Yeah.
off the top of the water tower,
So
you double bag.
So do you plan, this is where it gets interesting. Do you plan for knowing there could be a hole?
Absolutely.
Do you?
All right, yeah, you do. Or you plan to die.
So, I mean, maybe, but I mean, after a while, surely plastic sacks cost a lot.
So what's the force of gravity pulling you down going to do to the air pushing up on that little bitty pinhole tear?
But that's where I believe if we, like, this is where Elijah made fun of me. If we had an apparatus to tie all of the bags to, like, part of me lately, I've been thinking like a circular apparatus, not just like a big pole holding on to things.
So you want a bigger ring.
Yeah, maybe. And then you tie them all the way around. And this is great stuff. You tie it all the way around and maybe some handles to hold on to in the middle. It allows the air to circulate. It's not just all in one spot. It's circulating. And then you just tie on more and more bags, kind of like a full-on parachute, but made of plastic Walmart sacks.
bags. And you came up with a number?
I truly do think it for sure, like if you had like 5,000, you could for sure do it. But I think it still could be done with like maybe 4, maybe. We'll see. I'll do the math
bags?
and I'll let y'all know at a later date. Possibly experiment with it. Might be arrested.
So I just here, and this is what we'll go with. Robbie, I love you. I'm going to be praying for you as Briar comes to Grace Place to have the kids jump off a water tower with Walmart bags. And sounds like a great, exciting ministry.
Yes.
We're going to be praying for that process.
Yes, well, it all depends on their faith. How faithful are they that the Lord is going to protect them?
There you go.
Prayer. That's not sponsored by TheRoad.tv or by Walmart Incorporated.
All right. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in today.
Yes.